Well, this sucks. I just did a whole, I don't know how long video, and now I gotta do it again because apparently the camera wasn't recording. So that's great. Still got my tea though. So, what I'm gonna do today is the first time I'm kind of, I guess, reviewing albums or judging or criticizing, whatever you want to say. I'm gonna call them reviews because that's what they're supposed to be, right? But obviously, as a rapper myself and someone who makes music, I am gonna criticize things that they do good, things that they do not so good, and give you my overall score. So today I'm gonna have my friend Shaggy No Scoob, or Shane as I call him, his album Emotional, his newest album, which I kind of am a little late on, which is why I'm doing a double review, because I promised him I listened to it back a couple weeks ago when it came out, and I just have been busy lately. And then my other friend Miggy Bars, which his name's Miguel, but I call him Miggy anyway. So Miggy's new album 27, and we're gonna judge that one too. A little stutter there, but yeah. So we're gonna judge both of these albums. Honestly, Shane surprised me with this album. I heard one of his tracks early, and I was a little, I didn't really like his new style. I really, to be honest, I didn't really feel like it suits him, and it's also not a style I'm a big fan of. Although this album, I think he did a very good job on. And I'm gonna rate 1 to 5 stars. I'm gonna rate his album. I'm just gonna jump, give him the rating early on. 4 stars for this album. I think it was actually really good, especially for him putting himself out there. A lot of personal and emotional things he said. There's like a spider web over here or something. And I think there was definitely a lot that he was willing to put on the line for this album. And he did it, and he did it with grace. He did it very well. And I think it's his best album so far. Definitely his most honest and true and like him. I think it should have almost been called personal rather than emotional. It was very personal. Now, not every song was, but the ones that were definitely were, and they were all definitely emotional compared to other people. And I definitely think he did get really emotional for himself, probably. He definitely was willing to do that, and I commend him for that. That's amazing that someone is willing to do that, and it's not easy to do. Trust me, it's not easy to do. So, him talking about his parents and just a lot of things. It's a really good album. It's really personal, and I can get behind it. Actually, I can get behind this one. It's good. It's good. It's a good album. Now, there was a couple parts, obviously, that weren't so good. I think his mixing is decent. His emotions pretty good, and most of the time, his mixing is decent. So we're gonna kind of get back into this mixing though. There was one song I remember where I'm pretty sure, it was early in the album. I don't know the name of it, but he had like this. Every song was like up here, right? Like this sounded mixed mastered. This song was like down here. It was like, what is he saying? And then there was parts that would like jump up. It was like, what I'm talking about is all, and it was like really weird, and I didn't like that at all. It was really strange and off-putting. Another thing that was a little off-putting is there was sometimes parts, and maybe this is because he didn't grow up listening to rap, or he hasn't, I don't know exactly why this would be, but I feel like he runs off the beat sometimes, and I feel like it's because the words he picked aren't the right words. Like, for example, one time he says something like, this it never pays off, I work all day, no time off. Like, just listening to that, doesn't that sound a little weird? Like, I don't know exactly what it says, so I'm going to repeat the same thing. He says something like, I work all day and it never pays off. I work so much, I have no time off. Like, doesn't that just sound a little bit funny? Because aren't you expecting to hear, I work so hard, it never pays off, I work so much, I have no days off, right? Wouldn't you expect to hear pays off and days off? And I don't want to, stay on this subject so long because I know he hasn't grown up listening to rap, and he probably doesn't understand like the multi-syllables or the homonyms. And that's fine. You don't have to be a lyrical rapper to be a rapper, although that's what I prefer, and that's, what I like to be. I get other people aren't like that, but it's such a different flow of time and days. It's like, it doesn't sound right there. And not only does it not sound right, but you lost a perfect opportunity to have a multi-syllable rhyme, Instead of having pays off, days off, you just have pays off, days off, or time off. So now you're only rhyming off and off, and people are gonna already be like, why'd you rhyme off and off? Unless you have a multi-syllable rhyme where you have pays off and days off. And even though it's still simple pays and days, it flows better with the beat and the song, and it sounds like, even though people are expecting it, it gets them to sing your song more, and they're gonna really, like me, remember you not doing that if you do it. They might not remember you specifically for being like, wow, he really had a multi-syllable rhyme there, but they're gonna remember you in a bad way if you don't do it at the same time. So sometimes it's not about being remembered in a good way, but it's about not being remembered in a bad way. And that's just something I think he should, take. And I did send him a text, and I sent him that, kind of a long paragraph, actually, a quick criticism of his album. Overall, I think it was really good. I think his song with Whoa, don't remember the name of it, and the song before that with Salvo were actually pretty good. But I think the song with Whoa was really good. His song with, I think he had a song with Rose, or was that Miggy? That was Miggy, actually. He had a song with Rose. That was good too. But the song with Whoa was really good. I think, even though that's not my style of song or anything, it sounded really good. And I, one thing I don't necessarily agree with in this album is he used his new style so much, where he used his old kind of style or his original style, I don't know what you want to call it, so little that I feel like it was almost an extended EP, and it got a little stale after a while. You know what I mean? It was kind of like a run-on thing. But he, at the same time, was willing to change his style and step out of the comfort zone and try this new thing, and I definitely respect that. And it's definitely something that's not just easy to do like that. It's something you gotta work on. So that is actually really good that he did do that. But it's just, is it genuine, or is it more like I'm trying to get views because I know more people will listen to this? I don't know. But I think I see him more as the guy who's like the hype. He's not super crazy lyrical, but he's more like the party kind of hype, whatever guy, rather than the sweet talk in your ear kind of guy. I don't know. That's just my take on it. But maybe he wants to be both, and that's something kind of, I guess, like Tory Lanez would be. The only thing is he's the opposite, so you figure he would be more the rapper. Sometimes he might do a little sing, but now he's kind of jumping straight into that, and that's, I don't know. That's something I'm not really sure if I'd like or not. It's not bad, but it's something, we'll have to see over time, and it kind of felt a little run-on with the length of the album. But it definitely was a good album, and like I said, I'm going to give it a 4. Definitely good. So now, Miggy, fucking bars, okay? Happy birthday, by the way. Mr. 27 out here. From Chicago. Here we go. Miggy, I'm going to give your album 3.5. Sadly, very, very sadly. I wish I could give it higher, and I definitely wish I could give it a 5. But I felt like he did kind of the opposite of Shane. He didn't put himself out there. He didn't have a lot of emotion in his words most of the time. And that, I definitely think, is something he's lackluster on. He needs to put himself out there more. And I still tell him to this day, his best song is If You Only Knew. And I think he needs to go back and realize that song, you had a good intro, you didn't wait. And this is another problem I have with both of their stuff. They take too long to start sometimes. 20 seconds, you should already have been talking 10 to 12, maybe 15 seconds. Maybe 20 in like 1 or 2 songs, but not 5 songs in a row, and then on top of that, they're only 2.5 minutes long. That's something I think people do too often. And these guys definitely do it sometimes, and it's a little too much. You kind of want to start, look at Drake's music. All his songs are 10 to 12 seconds, right? 99% of them. And that's where most people start their songs. And if you're like, well, the beat doesn't drop here, we'll either say an intro, have a little lo-fi kind of type, where someone's talking, or just cut the beat there. Make the beat shorter. got the DAW for it, right? Or, put something interesting with the beat in the beginning, kind of like have it phase in, or just kind of going from ear to ear, whatever you got to do, make it more interesting. Because if it's just building up, and there's nothing there, why are people going to listen to it? And you got to ask yourself that. Would people listen to this? Would I, as a listener, listen to this song? Would I stay interested in this song? Or would I just be like, this is taking too long, skip? Would you really? So, 1 or 2 songs, maybe 3, that's fine. But too many, and it's not good. You want to draw people in, like I said, the first 10 to 20 seconds. If you just started talking the 20 seconds, they're not drawn in. And then also before a minute, probably around 40 to 45 seconds, you want to get them, you want to say something kind of even more, maybe the chorus comes in to get them drawn into the rest of the song. So 12 seconds and 45 seconds are big marks for every song, for every song, not just rap, but especially rap, where you really want to draw someone in. 12 seconds, you want to get them listening. Then at 45 seconds, you want to get them listening to the rest of the song, whether it's a minute song or a 5-minute song, And like I said, maybe that's the chorus, maybe that's a crazy bar you had that people are like, oh, what? Whatever it is. And you just want to, you want that. So that's something I think they need to work on, is starting the song earlier. And also not in the ending sometimes, too, cut off the ending a little bit. There's different ways to do that as well, but I'm not going to get into all that. So overall, though, Miggy, I think he just needs to put himself out there more. I think he doesn't have enough emotion in his pen and in his words. And that's a tough combo to deal with, I think he has it. I've spoken to him, I've sat with him, I've heard him. He's a really emotional person. He's really happy most of the time, and if not, he's had some stuff he's been through, and maybe he doesn't want to talk about a lot of stuff. Maybe he isn't ready, maybe he doesn't know how to, maybe he doesn't want to bring certain people or names into it. But I think you need to tell people your story so they know more about you through your music, not just an interview or your bio, through your music. Tell them your story. And I think that's what Shane did really, really well in his album. And that's where I think Miggy falls off. Now, I'm not going to say he's hit his peak or, he's fallen down or he's fallen off. He's not. But I know he can do so much better that he's holding himself back. So, you could say, oh, well, that's kind of biased in a way where I know him personally, so I know he can do better. But at the same time, you got to realize people in the future, when you do make it, because you are going to make it, the people that are old fans of you are even gonna be like, well, you used to have this emotion and now you're kind of just like, yeah, I'm the best. And you want to be like, man, I'm the best out. You know what I mean? You want to people feel it, and then people are singing along, yeah, I'm the best. They're not just like, I'm the best, I'm okay. You know what I mean? And it's not that bad. That's a hyperbole. It's not that bad at all, but it's definitely not as good as it could be. And I know you can do better, and that's why it really pains me to say that, but it's true. And I'll tell you that, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna just be, oh yeah, dude, that sounds amazing. Like, no, there's some stuff you can work on. There's some stuff I can work on. Everyone's open to criticism. I didn't like Shane's style necessarily, not my style, but I can admit that he had a very good album, and I think Miggy needs to kind of learn from that, or learn from his old song where he did go into more details. He did give you more examples. Maybe that's just the thing. Maybe he needs more detail. But that's your pen, your emotional pen. You also need emotion in your words. And that's where I kind of come to his mixing. Wasn't as good as it could have been. But mixing itself is only 20% of the mix. Mastering's like 5%. Which, I will also say, the volume in his song with Lamont Waves, Lamont was so much higher that it drowned him out. And that wasn't good. You should gain stage that. Make it fit. Either put yourself louder or put him down. Whatever you gotta do. Besides that, I just think he needs to put himself out there more, and I know he can, and that was it. But like I said, his mixing, he's been rapping so long and recording himself so long, I feel like that could be a lot better. And there was times where he was too quiet, or it was a little funky. I don't know, I guess the word. It's just not as good as it could have been, and it's just one of those things. I feel like he can be so much better than he comes off to be, and that's why I feel like I kind of give it that rating. You know what I mean? Although these albums are both good, both worth listening to, and they're both a lot better than 80 to 90% of anyone else putting out music. I mean, that's true. That's the thing, is 3, it sounds so average. 4 sounds like, oh my god, that's almost a 5. but everyone else is putting out 1s and 2s. You know, a 3 is an average to me. A 3 is that's pretty good. 3.5, well, I mean, that's almost a 4. You got some things you can definitely work on, especially for being how long you've been in the game, or, you know, whatever. It sounds like you kind of freestyled a couple verses, and that's not bad to do, but I know you only like to do verses in one take. Me, when I freestyle, I kind of do a little bit here, a little bit there, you know. If you look at Tori, you know, I know we've watched videos, we've talked about watching videos at least about Tori in the studio. He doesn't do one whole verse. He does 1 bar, 2 bar, 3, you know, a couple bars at a time maybe, and he'll go back, I don't know if I like that, change it up, you know, do it a couple times. If you're gonna freestyle, you should do it like that. And I'm not saying that's, you know, what Miggy did. I don't know if he did a freestyle, but it sounds like it, and I think it's because the lack of emotion in the pen, and not only the pen itself in the words, but in the delivery, you know. And that's where I think Shane really excelled in. So those were kind of like the main points. I'd say there wasn't anything super bad, but the thing is, with Miggy's album, it also didn't like grab me. You know, it wasn't like, wow, I really want to go back and listen to that song. Where Shane, it might not be my cup of tea, right? But it was definitely like I could put it on, I could drive to, or I could have a chick in the car and just chilling, and just smoking, you know, whatever you're doing, you could just be chilling and just listen to it. Now, you'd expect him to be more of like the party guy or something, but it's a different take, and you know, it's interesting. But Miggy, it's kind of like, is there any song I'd really go back and listen to? Maybe like 2 or 3, you know, but none of them really like just grab me. Like, oh, I can really relate to that, you know. And that's the thing, is I think if you put the emotion in your words, people are gonna relate so much more, because the crowd feeds off of your energy, right? Just like you're doing a show, act like you're recording it for a show. Also, in your pen, man, those are the 2 biggest things. I'm gonna keep saying it. You know, it's, you're not giving enough examples. You know, you're like, man, I'm working so hard and I'm not getting anywhere, and how come people don't realize me? When you should be like, man, I work so hard, 12 hours on my music, another 8 hours at this shitty job, and I gotta take care of my, you know what I mean? Get into it and put more into it, rather than just like, you know, kind of, I should be the best, I guess. You know, you gotta put more into it. And those are the biggest things. It's not bad. Definitely, you should go listen to them. They're both good. And my friend Yamato, he's actually putting out an album, I think this month, I believe so. And I have another song coming out on the 9th, talking about my 1 year as an official kind of rapper. So if you want to check that out, go for it. Once again, I give Shane's Emotional a 4, and I give Miggy's 27 a 3.5, which I really wish I could have at least gave him a 4.5, but to me it didn't quite get there. Kind of, you know, fell off a little bit. But he's got it, and he's definitely, I know he can do better. And like I said, go listen to it. It's not bad at all. It's just my personal opinion as someone who also makes music and knows him personally and knows what he's capable of. So we all need to do work, and hopefully if you make music, you learn something from this as well, and maybe you'll kind of see what I mean when you do go listen to these albums. You know, I might be a little bit harsh, but I'm going to be completely honest with everybody. So have a good night, and I'll see you in the next one, and I'll probably also review Yamato's album when that comes out, so look out for that.
You gotta say now, and I really love their hate, cause they